All right, let's talk about something many of us do almost every day, that coffee run. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder how much money you'd need to make for that habit to be, completely meaningless to your finances? It sounds like a pretty simple question, right? But trust me, the answer is way more complex and a lot bigger than you probably think.
So it all starts with this number right here, $7. For a lot of us, that's the price of a daily latte, a fancy cold brew, you name it. Doesn't really feel like a big deal, does it? But this one little number, is the key that unlocks a huge financial puzzle.
So that's the big question we're diving into today. At what point, what income level, does that $7 a day purchase just not matter at all? Let's try to figure this out, and we'll start with the most obvious, simple answer first.
Okay, so for our first stab at this, we're going to use a really common personal finance rule of thumb. It'll give us a quick, straightforward number. But is it the real answer?
Check this out. It's kind of wild how fast the math adds up. That $7 a day, that comes out to $2,555 a year. Gone. Now, there's this thing called the 1% rule. The idea is that an expense is basically insignificant if it's less than 1% of your gross income. So if we use that rule, for that $2,500 to feel like a drop in the bucket, you'd need to be pulling in about $255,000 a year.
And there you have it, our first answer. You need to be making around $255,000 a year, so that coffee habit doesn't really matter. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast.
And here's the twist. There's a pretty big flaw in just using that simple rule. A huge one, actually. It completely ignores the single most powerful force you have for building wealth over the long term.
So this means we have to look past the price tag on the menu. We need to ask a much deeper, much more important question to uncover the real hidden cost of that coffee.
And that flaw, it's all about something called opportunity cost. Now, this is a game-changing idea. It basically says that every dollar you spend today isn't just $1 gone. It's also all the future money that dollar could have grown into if you had invested it instead. And when you start thinking that way, whoa, that $7 coffee is suddenly a whole lot more than just $7.
See, this completely reframes the problem. You're not just spending that $2,500 every year. What you're actually doing is giving up the chance to turn that money into a small fortune.
And this is where we get to the true price of that daily coffee. And I have to warn you, this number is so big it might genuinely shock you. This is all about the incredible power of compounding.
So let's just play this out for a second. You have a choice. You can spend that annual coffee money for that immediate enjoyment, or you can take that exact same money and put it to work in the stock market. What do you think would happen?
To figure this out, we'll just use some pretty standard assumptions. Let's say you invest that $2,555 every single year for 30 years, and you put it in something super simple, like an S&P 500 index fund, which just tracks the average return of the 500 biggest companies in the US.
All right, you ready for this? After 30 years, thanks to the magic of compound growth, your coffee money wouldn't just be the thousands you put in. It would have ballooned into over $312,000. Seriously, let that sink in. That is the true potential cost of your daily coffee.
I mean, this comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? We started this whole thing worrying about an annual cost of about $2,500. But the real figure, the true opportunity cost, is the potential future wealth you're giving up, over $300,000.
This changes everything. So now that we have this new massive number in our heads, let's go back to our original question and find the real finish line. We have to completely redefine what affordable truly means.
The question is no longer about affording a $2,500 annual expense. The real question is, at what point in your financial journey does giving up over $312,000 of future wealth become, a drop in the bucket?
And that's the key right there. At this level, financial decisions aren't really about your salary anymore. The conversation has to shift to your total net worth. Your annual income simply isn't the right measuring stick for a potential cost this big.
So, what is that number? Well, for a potential loss of over $300,000 to feel truly negligible, your net worth needs to be somewhere in the range of $10, $20, or even $30 million.
That is the true finish line. It's the point where your net worth is just growing so quickly on its own that forfeiting $312,000 is just a rounding error. Or you could look at it another way. It's when your time becomes so valuable that the convenience of just buying that coffee is worth any price.
And this is what I really want to leave you with.
This whole thing, it was never just about coffee, was it? It's a powerful way to look at every small recurring expense in your life. Your daily lunch, your subscriptions, that afternoon snack. So the real question is, what is the 30-year price tag on all the little things you buy without thinking? The answer just might change everything.